Welcome back, all of you beautifully unbound book babes. We are back for season 2, and we have our first official review. We are doing the Psycho Shifter universe, specifically book 6, Psycho Gods. And with a title like that, you just know it's going to get out of control quickly.
And it does. So,
And it does.
if you are, new to the Shiftverse, I would stop listening. You should make sure you go read all of the books. I'm going to do a very broad, non-spoiler recap of the series first, but then we're going to dive into a more detailed review of book 6, and there will most definitely be spoilers. So, in this 6-book series, the first 3 follow Sadie. Sadie is a young orphan with a sister, and you end up following her in the first 3 books on this journey to understand herself, kind of unlock some secrets, and come into her full power. During that process, and in book 2, we meet her best friend, Aran. So the last 3 books cover her journey about finding herself, defining who she is as a woman, getting through a lot of dark struggles, and coming out on the other side also in her full power. Both of these females have some of the funniest internal dialogue that you will ever read. Their character development is very unique. There is a lot of dark trauma and humor that you will read, and it is by far my favorite internal dialogue of characters. Their friendship is also hilarious, and though they are very different, they are chaotically similar. So it is a long series. There's lots of words, many pages to get through all 6 of these books, but the journey is quick because they're such a quick and easy read. By that, I mean you just want to read them. It's easy to fall in love with these characters and make it to the end.
That was a beautiful recap. I wish I could read that series again just based off that recap. It's amazing.
Thank you. I was trying really hard not to spoil anything. So it's super vague for a reason. There's so much that happens, you guys.
Here's what I will say, though. So Bobby recommended this series to me, and I was so nervous to read it. Bobby said, it's so funny. You're going to love it. And I was like, look, I'd love to laugh, but I don't like forced laughs at like semi-terrible jokes. And written humor is so hard. It is the hardest thing to do, right? Like in stand-up comedy or movies, you have inflection, you have falling down, you have fart jokes. Like I was really, really nervous going into this of like, written humor's hard. I don't know how, like, is it going to be funny or is it going to be cringe? It was hilarious. This was hands down. I mean, I had to stop reading it in public because I was laughing so hard and I looked so stupid. Just like, so yeah, it's definitely one of the funniest, wittiest, driest sense of humor for a female character's internal dialogue. It's hilarious. And I mean, we're not saying we identify with being the funniest in the world, but we definitely self-identify with these characters pretty closely.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of men in these stories and not a lot of females, and that is, just something that's relatable for us. So it's very fun to see how these women actually bully men.
Yes, that is a great way to put it. And the author, Jasmine Mas?
Mas. Yeah.
Mas?
Yeah.
I think she does a really great job. So these books are multiple point of view, and I think she does such a great job having an individual voice for each character. It can be really hard to not make all of your characters sound the same, because obviously you're just one person. And I think she did a great job with, the females sounding different from the males.
There are 7. Does Sadie have a POV in book 6? There's 7 or 8 points of view in this story, you guys.
In book 6, no. I don't think Sadie has a point of view in any of Aran's books.
Hold on.
Toodles.
I'm dumb.
Welcome back.
I can look at my phone because I'm an idiot.
What were you going to get? Oh, your Kindle.
Yeah. There's 7 POVs in this book. That's wild. Do you want me to say who they are?
No, let me guess.
Okay.
So Aran, Corvus, Orion, Scorpius, John, Luca, Luther?
Jinx.
Oh, she gets 2. Right.
She gets 2.
She gets 2.
2, 3? Let me check. 3. She gets 3.
Wow.
Yeah. That's wild.
And Jinx is eventually going to get a story, but hers is on hold, correct?
Yeah.
Jasmine's going off to make a whole new world.
Yep. She is. Yep. So Jasmine is taking some time off from writing because she's basically written all 6 of these books in 2 years. So she's had very fast timeline to get these out, and she's basically been nonstop writing. So she is taking some time off, coming out with a new series, and I think it's supposed to be like 3 books. And then she's going to return to shed some light on Jinx and what happens next, or maybe what happened previously to her, with her. I'll be excited to see how she takes that one.
And that'll be very different. Jinx is not as funny.
No.
She's fairly serious, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty serious.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, the books came out, they've, like you said, within 2 years. We devoured all 6 of these books pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As we could.
You read books they sent like a day and a half.
I was like, Bobby, this is hilarious. I truly thought they were all 200 pages. And so I was like, quick read. I didn't realize they were like 700 pages a piece.
Yeah. The last 2 were pretty long.
So that's the fun of e-reading. You just have no idea how many pages. Oh, man. So in regards to, well, no, I guess that would be a spoiler.
Well, we can jump into the in-depth spoiler stuff because we're already there. Like,
yeah, there's really nothing else to.
No, we have to.
We have to. There's nowhere else to go.
Yep.
So, book 5, this review's primarily going to be book 6. So, book 5 ends with them winning the Legionnaire Games and finding out that they are going to be in charge of an army against the ungodly.
Yeah, they're the gods' champions. Champions of the gods. Yeah.
And they're going to fight the ungodly, which are creatures that live in a human body, and then you have to kill the human, and then what is it, like a 6 or 7 foot creature or 10-foot creature?
Yeah. So they're like a
pops out
parasite. Like apparently, like they give their eggs to an egg to a human, and then it hatches and inside them and takes them over. And so on the exterior, the ungodly look like humans, but there's something like kind of like a green film to their eye. So you know that they're the infected. And then when you kill the infected, an ungodly, which basically makes me think of like a giant lobster, slimy lobster, like pops out of them. And then you have to kill that. And it's like green goo, like just horrible, grime, nasty. But yeah. That's what they're fighting.
Did you ever watch the Alien movies?
Way back, like as a kid.
That's kind of what it reminds me of, right? Yeah. Because they would drop something into them and then it would explode out of their chest.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's where we pick up in book 6. So going into book 6, right, we have the war against the ungodly, which Aran is pretty much the general.
Yep.
Deciding. Like she's the smartest person in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Leading this war against the ungodly. And the redemption arc for the kings.
Yes, that's main focus.
Yeah. Now going into book 6, did you think there was going to be a redemption arc? Did you want that, or did you want her to not allow any redemption?
I was hoping there would be something. Some at least, like, if there wasn't full redemption, at least cordiality. Is that a word?
If it is, I don't know what it means.
I wanted there to be some type of, like, cordial understanding at bare minimum.
Cordiality. I get where we're going with it. I still don't know if it's a word, but now...
Made that up.
I like it though. I'm gonna run with it.
Sounds like agility. Sorry. I had to. I don't think it's a word, guys. Sorry, Kristen. Go ahead.
It is now. I like it. I was nervous for their redemption arc. At first, I was like, no, there's no coming back from the things that they have done, right? There's just no coming back from, like, trying to drown Aran in the bathtub.
Yeah, setting her on fire till her skin melted off her skeleton.
Yeah, like, there's no coming back from that, right?
No.
But then, by the end of the book, I was like, it's nice to know that there is redemption for everybody, right? There's nothing you can do in this life. I mean, none of us can do those things, but, when you apply it to a real life scenario where you're like, you could pretty much come back from anything if you're willing to eat crow and crawl across the floor.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
So, there are a couple... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, sometimes your redemption is going to be very cringeworthy.
Yep. There are a couple storylines that have to kind of like be wrapped up though. Like one of them being the fact that all the men think that Sadie and Aran slept together in the shower.
And they still get so mad and they're so
angry.
And Sadie.
But they were just Sadie and Aran were jokes. They got jokes the whole thing, So like
yeah.
And then also, go ahead.
Well, like Sadie's beast form is a giant saber-toothed tiger. Yeah. So of course she's going to antagonize whoever she wants. And she's like, come on, let's make out again.
Yes. She's constantly trying to stir the pot. It's probably the favorite underlying joke of the whole last book, actually, is her just trying to get under Sadie trying to get under everyone's skin. And then also, we have to clarify who exactly the twins are. Because we love them. We love John and Luca in book 5. We know that they're the Princes of Darkness, but we don't know what the hell that means and where from. Turns fucking out they're the Princes of Darkness from the Olympus realm, and they're fucking Hades' sons. And Hades runs the prison, and I'm just like, did you see that coming?
No, I didn't really get their story at all. I was really disappointed with the twins in book 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so they're the Princes of Darkness, they're Hades' son, they run like the prison where all of the worst monsters go. But what exactly is their power? Just portal hopping? It is just darkness?
Yeah, I feel like they can wield, they're like crazy strong, and they wield darkness and open portals. I don't know.
I don't either. And I was super bummed.
Yeah, I guess
I feel
point. You got a point about that. Like, what exactly?
I feel like
power.
The twins were so built up in book 1 and 2, and they just kind of fell flat in book 3 to make room for the King's redemption arc.
Yeah.
And they were just... It almost feels like we got gypped on just not knowing more about them.
I was thinking that a lot of feedback that was given after book 5 was that the Kings were like too cruel. And so I think she did kind of focus on the Kings groveling way more than anything to do with the twins, because really the twins were the main event for me in book 2. Like, they were my, like, the characters to watch, the characters to appreciate. So I do think that there was a lot of room made for the Kings at the sacrifice of the twins.
The thing I missed the most, so in book 2, the twins would always smirk at the Kings anytime they got Aran in a hug or into their bed. They would just like look over and smirk at them like, "Nana boo boo, stick your head in doo doo," right?
Yeah.
And they didn't do any of that in book 3. Like, they didn't posture against the Kings. They didn't like claim any sort of territory. They just like...
Yeah. I do.
And again, my issue with like every reverse harem is there's no like would you rather argument. There's no like back and forth of like, okay, definitely this guy. Oh wait, no, definitely that guy. Oh wait, no. Like, it's always... there's just no choice, right? You just know you're gonna end up with all of them. There's no like,
Yeah.
oh, I kind of like this one better, or maybe not that one, this one. Like, there's no battle of Aran ever being confused of whether it's the twins or the Kings, right? And I would have liked that. I would have liked that more.
Yeah, I do think, though, that like Jasmine, when she was writing this, she did a poll on Instagram and asked, like, do you want her to end up with just the twins, just the Kings, or the Kings and the twins? And the Kings and the twins won the poll. And I think that despite that not enough back and forth, the way that she had them all come together was very well done.
It was pretty cute.
Yeah.
In love with each other.
Yes, it was done so well, because in the story, you know, Aran is committed to the twins already. She's got on jewelry that signifies that she's going to commit to them and marry them and create a soul bond with them. During the story, it ends up happening without their knowledge, really. At first they figure it out, and so then it comes down to the fact, well, it's too, like, the Kings aren't gonna get their option. Like, their option is the package, right? Like, you're not just getting her anywhere, because she has husbands now, and it's the twins. So like, you have to be all accepting Kings. And so they go on this journey of groveling, and a lot of it is rooted in the issues between Corvus and Aran. And so to have them come together how they did, with like this kind of like this whole 3+3 thing and this duality and pairing, like John and Scorpius and Luca and Orion and Aran and Corvus, and then you have the three, Aran and the twins, and the three of the kings, and then so it does end up pretty cute. But I was actually very surprised on how less graphic this book was over number 5. Number 5 was far more graphic. Like, even during the fight scenes with the ungodly, it kind of just goes through this repetitious thing through Aran's mind kind of thing, where she's like screams, sounds, slashing, gore, and it doesn't get super detailed, which I actually like, because it does so much for you understanding the mindset that Aran is in during the whole situation, because she's spiraling hard, like just straight down. And I do think that how she wraps up the series with them all coming together and kind of having some level of peace is very cute, and I thought it was very clever about her, because we find out Aran has angel wings at the end of book 5, that she's part angel, but she can't fly. There's this whole problem about her being able to fly. Well, I'm not going to ruin this part, but there is a reason, and I love how Jasmine solves that.
Mm-hmm.
So she could get over it and overcome it. I did not see that coming. That was a twist I was not.
I didn't either. I never put any of that together.
No, not at all.
But when you talk about like Aran spiraling, like we don't know Aran ever not spiraling.
Yeah.
Yep. However, when you go back to like book 2, when it's like Sadie's story, you never would have guessed that Aran was having problems.
Right.
Right? And so it's such an interesting concept that we had no idea Aran was spiraling. So there's no possible way that any of these other characters, like Aran thinks she's falling apart, but from the outside, I don't know if she knows how well she's holding it together.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's an interesting peek into like mental illness and depression of like what's going on in her head while she's still fully functioning.
Yeah, because nobody realized it until how bad it was, until some of these soul bond things started happening and they were getting glimpsed based on that. Like, they're like, oh, she's in pain at weird times. Why is she in pain? Like,
yeah,
I just brushed her cheek. Like, what's happening, you know?
But then again, she's surrounded by all men, so would they ever notice?
We know how observant men can be. No. Or cannot be. We know that they're not observant. I'll just say it. Like...
So, yeah, so maybe that was a bit of a... Yeah, maybe I should take all that back. Other people spiraling, Med would not.
So one of the things that I kind of missed was Sadie and Aran's interactions. Like, I was so happy for the end of the last half of the book, because there were so many more Sadie-Aran interactions in the first half of the book, and I really needed that. I really wanted those interactions, so I was really happy that they came in at the end of the book. But and then I also was like, because we know that Cobra actually loves and adores Sadie. Like, they actually had bonded over trauma. But their whole dynamic in this book is hilarious, because like Cobra's always acting like he hates her and she's always talking shit about him, but at the same time you know that they like adore each other.
Yeah. You know, interesting to me, I guess it makes sense, but anytime Sadie showed up, Cobra was with her, as opposed to any of her other mates. But it makes sense, because Cobra is unhinged and he's like
so crazy.
Unhinged. Like, there is no other word.
There is no other word. You are correct.
And I guess that does match Aran's personality pretty well. Being a little unhinged and out of control.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is, okay, so at no point, right, circling back, at no point do the twins ever like posture against the kings or claim territory to Sadie. Or I'm sorry, Aran. They never claim their territory over Aran. There's a point in book 6 where one of them, I think John stands up to Scorpius, and Aran's like, oh man, he would just get ripped to shreds, right? However, in book 5, when Luca throws Aran into the ocean, after she's like, hey, sorry about all that stuff that went down in the Legionnaire games, before they knew it was Luca, like this is how they find out John is a twin, is she thinks she's running next to Silent John. And she says, hey, sorry for like what happened out on the field out there. And then he just picks her up and throws her into the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's just this little, it's one sentence of Scorpius is trying to beat the shit out of Luca, and he cannot land a blow. Luca is just dodging everything. Scorpius is like winded and can't even land a blow on the guy. So there's just like a hint that the twins are actually more powerful than the kings, or like faster in hand-to-hand combat.
Right. Oh.
And have just
kind of that.
It's just one line. It's just this one time that you're like,
actual reference.
Yeah, like
love how authors do that. Fuckers.
Like, you're like, wait. Are you telling me that Luca is like so fast and such a good fighter that Orion and Scorpius couldn't even land a hit?
Yeah.
I was blown away by it, and I was like, wait a minute. So again, to circle back to the twins being like, what is their power? What are their abilities? I need more about them.
That'd be nice.
I love Luca. John's a big happy gold retriever, but Luca's a bit of like a silver tongue. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, he's got a dirty mouth.
I was gonna say I had so many dirty jokes popped in my head when you said it. My head went straight to the gutter.
It was supposed to, because that's what Luca says is terrible, terrible stuff.
Yeah. So what did you like about the book?
I really enjoyed the growth of Aran from being in that mindset of always fighting and like she's gonna rip Luther apart. I don't know if it's Luther. I think it's French. I just called him Luther for all 6 books.
Yeah, basically I did too. Nothing's changed in season 2. We make our own shit up.
She's gonna rip him apart. She's gonna rip Corvus's head off of his shoulders, And then she gets to a point where she's like, I am just so done fighting. I don't have the energy to hold a grudge. And it's that growth and that capacity for forgiveness that I don't have it, but it was fun watching her have it.
Yeah.
It was, such an interesting story of like, wow, that's so cool. I love that for you, girl. I don't have it, but I love it for you.
It's so funny because I called Kristen and we were talking and I was like telling her how I felt like there's this one battle scene where like you really don't know if Sadie and Jinx Sadie and Aran and then Jinx are going to make it out of there alive. And there's a point where Aran knocks Sadie out on purpose and then tries to protect her. And we were talking about that scene. And Kristen was like, if I needed any confirmation that I am actually Sadie in the stories, it was that scene. Like that I'm Sadie in the friendship. I was cracking up. I was like, that's super true.
There's that particular scene. But also at the end when you find out that they were like, wow, Sadie's so stupid. Maybe if we take a little tiny piece of Aran's soul, this will make her a functioning human being.
Yeah, it worked.
Like, it made her smarter. And Aran's like, made her smarter? She's a dumb shit.
Yeah, I really liked how, like I said, how she kind of tied the groups of people together for the like reverse hair and white shoes. And then I also like Jinx and getting a little bit more knowledge about what and who she is. And cannot wait to learn more. And I also love that she is the Lady Regent of the Fae Court or the Fae realm now. I love that.
Yeah. What is she again? She's a
Soulmancer.
Soulmancer.
Yeah. Highly recommend the series. Follow Jasmine.
You're not going to put this book down. Clear your. If you're going on vacation, this is the time to pick your
six of them because you'll read them. You'll read all of them.
Yep. Yepers.
Be sure to follow Jasmine at Jasmine Mas Books on Instagram and TikTok. I'll have it linked below for you. She is hilarious. Sign up for her newsletter. She's also hilarious there. She also adds in tidbits about like a little bit behind the scenes in her life in her newsletters as well. And check back in a few months because you never know who's going to be a guest on the podcast.
Intent.
Wink, wink. Until next week, keep reading, and we'll see you then.